Hello everybody and welcome to the, Hello everybody and welcome to the 2020 Justice Media Awards. This is what shows the year. And it also shows the time of the year. It's late June, so as you'll have noticed already, we have not yet reached the stage where the barbers and hairdressers have reopened. So I have my COVID curls at the back like so many others, but hopefully very soon they will all be disposed of. Those of you who've been to Justice Media Awards presentation lunches previously in the 29 years, this is the 29th year of the Justice Media Awards, the longest continuous media awards competition in Ireland. Those of you who've been there previously will have seen me before coming to you at the dessert stage. But I'm afraid for the moment today, you just have to imagine your dessert, your cup of coffee, maybe that additional glass of wine. But we will do the best we can. The only thing that's different really this year from previous years is that we don't have the presentation lunch because we can't have the presentation lunch for reasons that everybody knows. So let's begin. Hello and welcome to this brand new way of celebrating and recognising excellence in legal journalism, the Justice Media Awards, online for the first time ever. We know it's never easy to take the time from your work and I suspect personal time to submit entries for these awards, but I doubt it has ever posed such a challenge as it did this year. As you all know, the entry period for this year's awards coincided with the restrictions placed upon us all, which posed great challenges and created so much uncertainty. Nevertheless, it is a great source of pride that we welcomed an understandably lower but incredibly strong level of entries for the 2020 awards. A heartfelt thank you to everyone who got an entry in. And for those of whom it was simply too challenging amidst everything else, we look forward very much to seeing your entries and indeed seeing you in person. Wouldn't we all love that? This time next year and into the future. I always like to take a moment to reflect on the purpose and the goal of the Justice Media Awards, which despite all of the changes of the past few months, remained constant and consistently important. Promoting the highest standards of legal journalism. Fostering greater public understanding of the law, the legal system, or any specific legal issue. Informing and educating citizens as to the roles of the society of the law, the courts, law enforcement agencies, and the legal profession, and disclosing practices or procedures needing reform so as to encourage the development and modernisation of Irish law, courts, and law enforcement agencies, and/or, very legal that, assisting the legal profession, the judiciary, and all others involved in the administration of justice in attaining the highest professional standards. I would like to pay this tribute to the judging panel for the invaluable role it has played in assessing this year's entries, particularly given the huge volume of material. This was all done in Zoom meetings. Before I announce the winners and merit recipients of the 2020 Justice Media Awards, a message from the Law Society of Ireland President Michele O'Boyle.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to wish all of you a very warm welcome to the 29th Annual Law Society of Ireland Justice Media Awards and our first ever virtual Justice Media Award event. It is a historic moment for the Law Society to bring the Justice Media Awards online. The awards are a very important event in the annual Law Society calendar, and although we cannot mark the occasion in person together right now, I believe it is more important than ever to recognise and reward excellence in legal journalism. The COVID-19 pandemic has presented difficulties for all of us in so many unprecedented ways. As our entry deadline approached in April, journalists and newsrooms were working remotely right across the country and still delivering essential news on a day-to-day basis. Even with competing priorities, we still received an outstanding 130 entries from almost 80 individual journalists. I wish to thank our entrants this year for their dedication to reporting on key legal issues. I have seen firsthand over the past few weeks and months the necessity for accurate reporting and the influence the media has in shaping public discourse. If we look further back at the stories from 2019, some of the most high-profile, sensitive and controversial news stories have been related directly to the law. Many of these stories have been captured in the public domain and are reflected in this year's entries. Finally, I would like to thank each contributor and to congratulate all of our award recipients. Your dedication, enthusiasm and insight is inspiring. Thank you for making a difference in all our lives.
We begin this afternoon, as usual, with Category 1, Print Online Journalism Daily. There are 5 merit certificates being awarded in this category, which the judges noted was an exceptionally strong and highly competitive category this year. The first is for an extensive front-page examination of Ireland's fines system. The judges described this as a striking piece of reporting which takes the reader behind the facts and figures to reveal the true cost of collecting fines through the courts and the lack of consequences for those who don't comply. The first merit recipient is Cormac O'Keefe for his Irish Examiner special report, When Crime Does Pay. The second merit is for a series of articles on the political scandal known as Votegate. The judges said there can be no doubt of the enormous impact of these reports, which take the readers from the initial revelations right through to analysis of their constitutional significance, and led to a series of Oireachtas investigations. The second merit recipients are Fionn Sheehan and Cormac Quinn for their Irish Independent Special Report, Constitutional Implications of Votegate, Absentee voted 6 times in Dáil. The third merit award in this category is for an exceptional long-form piece on why the Quinn family walked away from the largest commercial dispute in Irish court history. The judges said, "This is a forensic analysis of the final twists of one of Ireland's most bitter and expansive courtroom dramas. It weaves a fascinating and intricate tale of tactical litigation and the characters at its heart." The third merit recipient is Ian Keogh for his The Currency Special Report, Leveraging Surrender, How IBRC Followed the Quinn Money Trail. The fourth award is for an examination of the difficult subject of sex offenders and their re-entry to society after prison. The judges said, "This reporter shows great skill in tackling a heavy and troubling topic, delivering a comprehensive, truly educational article that balances data, expert opinion and public perception." The fourth merit award is Michele Hennessy for her The Journal.ie special report, How Ireland Deals with Sex Offenders When They Are Released from Prison. The fifth award in this category is for a 2-part investigation into the facts behind the so-called compo culture. The judges said, drilling into data, these reporters have produced an eye-opening and important report on one of the most talked about aspects of Irish law in recent years. The fifth merit recipients are Peter Bodkin and Sean McCarthy for their noteworthy special report, We're Being Fed This Lie, exposing the myths of Ireland's compo culture. And the Justice Media Award in the Print Online Journalism Daily category goes to a detailed, insightful look at the modern Supreme Court. The judges said, as well as being a thoroughly enjoyable read, this is an excellent, interesting analysis from a brilliant writer who is clearly thriving on the challenge of detailed, long-form reporting for a brand new online platform. And the winner of the Justice Media Award in the Print Online Journalism Daily category is Francesca Cummin of The Currency for her excellent article, Law in a Golden Age. Category 2, Print Online Journalism Sunday. 2 merit certificates are being awarded in this category. The first is for an interview highlighting a chilling aspect of modern communications. The judges said, this reporter has delivered an eye-opening and educational report on the distressing consequences of receiving unsolicited, illegal material via WhatsApp. The first merit recipient is Patrick O'Connell for his Sunday World special report. Woman who was sent child porn and deleted it is now listed as a sex offender. The second is for the story of Ireland's new role in policing the world's largest social media platforms. The judges said, this excellent series of reports illuminate the enormous and growing burden of regulation that Ireland has taken on in welcoming social media giants to our shores to protect consumers from online harm. The second merit recipient is Samantha McCaughrean for her Sunday Independent special report, First Social Media Controls Revealed, Ireland in the Spotlight for Falling into Role of Online Regulator. And the Justice Media Award in the Print Online Journalism Sunday category goes to brilliant reporting on one of the biggest stories of 2019. The judges described this as brave, well-written and astonishingly impactful. Despite John Delaney's best efforts, this reporter simply could not be stopped as he fought for the right to lift the lid on the FAI's rotten finances. And the winner of the Justice Media Award in Print Online Journalism Sunday category is Mark Tighe of the Sunday Times for his excellent article, Delaney's Own Goal. Category 3, Print Online Journalism Local. The judges decided not to award any merit certificates in this category. The Justice Media Award for the Print Online Journalism Local category goes to Undercover Reporting, which reached the four corners of the world. The judges said, demonstrating through dedication to exposing wrongdoing, this reporter's investigation into landlords seeking to exploit vulnerable tenants had an incredible impact, going far beyond her local area of Cork and triggering international discussion. And the winner of the Justice Media Award in the Print Online Journalism Local category is Anne Murphy of The Echo for her excellent article, Sex for Rent. Category 4, Broadcast Journalism, Radio, Podcast, National. 2 merit certificates are being awarded in this category. The first is for a richly textured, atmospheric look at the fallout from the wrongful convictions for the Sallins train robbery. The judges said, this was a wonderful piece of audio journalism, highlighting severe failings in the criminal justice system in 1970s Ireland and documenting the process of healing from wrongful conviction. The first merit recipient is Donal O'Herlihy for his RTE Documentary on One special report, The Whistleblower. The second is for a special feature on the reality of prison in 21st century Dublin. The judges described this as an engaging and insightful report, bringing listeners into prison to learn more about life behind bars from everyone involved, the governor, prisoners, teachers and more. The second merit recipients are John Casey and Pat Kenny for their News Talk special report, Behind the Walls of Mountjoy Prison. And the Justice Media Award in the Broadcast Journalism Radio Podcast National category goes to an excellent examination of the legal meaning of anonymity and its controversial application in the most distressing criminal cases. The judges said, this reporter has created a unique space on where experts can skillfully address complex topics and answer the questions her listeners need answers to, particularly in the wake of highly emotive, high-profile criminal cases in recent times. And the winner of the Justice Media Award in the Broadcast Journalism Radio Podcast National category is Andrea Gilligan of News Talk for her excellent article, The Law and Anonymity.
People can often be left very disappointed if the judge orders that they aren't allowed, for instance, to waive their right to anonymity. And that can, as we've seen before in some cases, that can actually come as a shock to people who've gone through the trial with a view to getting justice themselves, and in some cases wanting their the accused to be named, and then to find out that actually that may not happen.
Yes, it does come as a shock, and a recent case reported in the newspapers raised that very point. The question of anonymity, though, is one that is, I think, more nuanced than perhaps just the complainant seeking to publish or have published the name of the, in that case I mentioned, now a convicted person, because the ramifications of removing anonymity affect so many other people.
Category 5, broadcast journalism, radio, podcast, local. Understandably, many local radio stations around the country were not in a position to enter this year due to the constraint of COVID-19. The judge decided that none of the entries met the required standard, and therefore no prizes have been awarded in this category. We very much look forward to welcoming entries for Category 5 for the 2021 Justice Media Awards. Category 6, broadcast journalism, TV or video. 2 merit certificates are being awarded in this category. The first is for an investigation of one man's battle to use the Protected Disclosures Act to end an environmental cover-up by the ESB. The judges said, excellent investigative reporting in the public interest, which led directly to Oireachtas Committee hearings, EPA action and the ESB itself. The first merit recipients are Barry O'Kelly, David Doran and Paul Maguire for their RTE Investigate special report, The ESB Leaks. The second is for a special report for the Evening News following the verdict in the Anna Kriegel trial. The judges said, in what must have been very challenging circumstances, this reporter's extended, sensitive report, which she presented live from the steps of the court, skillfully linked the events of the day with background to the crime. The second merit recipient is Geraldine Lina for her Virgin Media News special report, The Anna Kriegel Verdict. And the Justice Media Award in the Broadcast Journalism TV Video category goes to a video report from the front lines of the battle for same-sex marriage and abortion rights in Northern Ireland. The judges said this excellent report features an expertly balanced mix of law and politics and brings clarity to a complex story and highlights how human rights can test the limits of devolution. And the winner in the Justice Media Award in the Broadcast Journalism TV Video category is Kathleen Harris of the Irish Times for her excellent report, The Push for Same-Sex Marriage and Abortion Rights in Northern Ireland.
One of the matters that was really pressing on the executive was this issue around the bigger rights and equality crisis in this society. There's a number of issues, equal marriage, reproductive rights, language rights as well, that are forming part of the conversation around the negotiations.
Order! Northern Ireland Executive Formation Bill.
Members will appreciate that this bill was published very recently and that there have been there's been quite a lot of interest in it.
The Northern Ireland Bill was essentially the sort of stopgap legislation that allowed the parties here to continue talking about restoring the Assembly without having to have another election.
Fundamental part of our society.
MPs do have the right to add amendments to that, and this is where the 2 amendments have come from in regard to legalising abortion, also legalising same-sex marriage in Northern Ireland.
Category 7, court reporting, print and online. 3 merit certificates are being awarded in this category, which the judges noted was a particularly strong category and they wish to commend all entrants this year. The first is for an explainer of the background to a Supreme Court appeal related to a murder trial that gripped the nation. The judges said, designed to educate readers on the why and what next, these articles set out the public interest importance of the appeal and expertly explain the potentially far-reaching implications for both Graham Dwyer and the state's ability to investigate and prosecute serious crime. The first merit recipient is Mary Carolan for her The Irish Times Special Report, Explainer, Absence of Clear Law on Data Retention, Key to the Dwyer Appeal. The second is for an insight into the operations of a court without solicitors or barristers. The judges said, these reports detail the importance of the small claims court, covering everything from the humorous to the heartbreaking. and the skilled hand of a highly experienced court reporter. The second merit recipient is Nicola Donnelly for her Irish Daily Star series of reports, Justice for the Little People. The third is for exclusive reports on a series of urgent hearings to determine the future of a deeply troubled teenager in care. The judges said this reporter's expert handling of a harrowing case, the difficulty of which exceeds anything the care system dealt with before, highlights serious gaps in Ireland's mental health legislation and the very real consequences. The third merit recipient is Shane Phelan for his Irish Independent report, Tuzla's Race Against Time to Prevent a Homicidal Teen's Release into the Community. And the Justice Media Award in the Court Reporting Print Online category goes to a remarkable portrait of a harrowing murder trial, the longest article ever published by the Irish Times. The judges said, this exceptional article tells the complete story of the murder of Anna Kriegel, the extensive Garda investigation, the trauma caused by her murder, and recounts the trial from start to finish, an outstanding piece of court reporting. And the winner of the Justice Media Award in the Court Reporting Print Online category is Conor Gallagher of the Irish Times for the excellent article Anna Kriegel Murder Trial, The Complete Story. Category 8, Court Reporting Broadcast. One merit certificate is being awarded in this category. It is for comprehensive daily reports on the evidence presented in the Anna Kriegel trial. The judges said, these excellent reports were the first to bring the full details of the trial to a mass audience each day, expertly delivered a short time after evidence had ended for the day, including lengthy direct quotes from witnesses. The first merit recipient is Fergal Keane for his RTE Radio 1 special report, Anna Kriegel Trial. And the Justice Media Award in the Court Reporting Broadcast category goes to a series of reports on one of the most intricate aspects of the Anna Kriegel murder trial. And the judges said, these excellent reports focused on the complex prosecution case against Boy B, which relied heavily on 8 Garda interviews. They carefully detailed the evidence from these interviews in this reporter's signature, balanced, listener-friendly style. For the third year in a row, the winner of the Justice Media Award in the Court Reporting Broadcast category is Frank Greeny of News Talk for his reports Unravelling Boy B's Lies.
As he was leaving the park, he told Gardaí initially that he saw Anna and that he went up to her and that he said hi to her, but that she didn't say anything. So he picked up the pace, walked on ahead of her. When he said when he looked back, he noticed that she was gone. He said he went straight home and did his homework. He said that was at about 6 p.m. on May 14th last year. So that was the initial account that he gave to Gardaí. Now, in his third interview with Gardaí, this was shown in full to the jurors yesterday, and a number of CCTV clips were shown to Boy B. These were harvested from various cameras near Anna's home and from within the park where she was last seen alive. And Gardaí put it to him that the footage does not show him passing a certain location that he claimed to have passed in his initial account. He was also shown footage of a boy that he himself identified as Boy A, walking along a path at 4 minutes past 5 that evening. And when the direction this boy was walking in was pointed out to him during this interview, which was under caution, he had been arrested at this point, he said, that's really strange. And later he described it as weird. And he said he didn't know how Boy A was down there in that particular location.
Category 9, Human Rights, Social Justice Reporting. 4 merit certificates are being awarded in this category. The first is for in-depth reports on the subject of heated discussion at every level of Irish society. The judges said, this entry compiles several months of incredibly comprehensive reporting on the Public Services Card across the spectrum of data protection law, human stories, freedom of information requests, and much more. The first merit recipient is Keenan Brennan for his Irish Examiner special report, When the State Does Something, It's Legal, Public Services Card. The second is for an insight into the real-life implications of a high-profile citizenship ruling in Northern Ireland. What the judges said, Using freedom of information legislation, this reporter has delivered an excellent examination of the questions and anxieties the de Sousa ruling has thrown up for Irish citizens living in Northern Ireland. The second merit recipient is Gráinne Ní for her TheJournal.ie special report. People have been asking the Irish government what the de Sousa ruling means for them. The third is for an in-depth look at direct provision 20 years after the system came into operation. The judges said, "This excellent, long-read article introduces a major piece of work by this paper on direct provision, providing a historical overview of how the controversial system has developed over the last 2 decades. The third merit recipients are Sorcha Pollock and Mark Hilliard for their Irish Times special report, Direct Provision, the Controversial System Turns 20. The fourth is for extensive reporting on a serious human rights violation in Ireland and overseas. The judges said, demonstrating extraordinary commitment to shedding light on female genital mutilation and the work being done to protect women and girls, this comprehensive series is as enlightening as it is distressing. The fourth merit recipient is Orla Ryan for the Journal.ie special report, Female Genital Mutilation, Exploration and Analysis of the Practice in Ireland and Kenya. And the Justice Media Award in the Human Rights Social Justice Reporting category goes to an examination of the deaths of 2 vulnerable men in Irish prisons. The judges said, asking searching questions about this troubling and complex issue, this reporter brings his experience and insight to highlight failings in the criminal justice system which had devastating consequences. And the winner of the Justice Media Award in the Human Rights Social Justice Reporting category is Michael Clifford of the Irish Examiner for his excellent article, Deaths in Irish Prisons. Category 10, International Justice Reporting. 2 merit certificates are being awarded in this category. The first is for a series of reports from Ian Bailey's French trial for the murder of Sophie Toscan du Plantier. The judges said, an ancient French law permitting the prosecution of crimes against French citizens abroad brought this reporter to Paris to cover the in absentia trial and highlight the major differences in the Irish and French criminal justice system. The first merit recipient is Michael Clifford for his Irish Examiner special reports, the Ian Bailey murder trial. The second is for a court report from the United States as a father and daughter fought their convictions for the murder of Irishman Jason Corbett. The judges said, this clear, concise article from the North Carolina Court of Appeals details how Molly Martins and her father Tom won their appeal and why certain evidence was excluded from the trial. The second merit recipient is Michael Doyle for his Irish Sun special report, Good Molly, how did this pair win murder appeal? The judges decided not to award any overall prize in this category. Category 11, Newcomer of the Year. 2 merit certificates are being awarded in this category. The first is for a young reporter displaying excellent local news sensibilities and knowledge, how local stories fit into the national context, as well as the balance and accuracy required for high-quality court reporting. The first merit recipient is Aaron McElroy for Northern Sound Radio. The second is for a standout piece by a new member of this prestigious newspaper team in which he meticulously pieced together complex evidence from Ryanair's case against his outgoing chief operating officer to deliver an extraordinary insight into the inner workings of the airline. The second merit recipient is Rosanna Cooney of the Sunday Business Post. And the Justice Media Award in the Newcomer of the Year category goes to this newly minted journalist who delivered excellent coverage of the complex Brexit legal issues just weeks into his career, followed by a series of high-profile legal stories and explainers. And the winner of the Justice Media Award in the Newcomer of the Year category is Dominic McGrath of the journal.ie. Overall winner. It's the prerogative of the judging panel each year to present an overall winner award. We don't always do it, but we do to the entry that we see it as standing out from the others. This year, one entry did stand out as exceptional. It was from the court reporting print online category. And I'm delighted to say that this year's overall winner of the Justice Media Awards 2020 is Conor Gallagher of the Irish Times for his excellent article, Anna Kriegel Murder Trial, the complete story.
Thank you so much for this award. It feels a little strange to get an award for covering such a horrendous trial, but I think these awards are really valuable, and they're valuable especially for recognising, I think, an area of journalism that's also often overlooked, and that's the area of court reporting. Court reporting is the value of court reporting is not in the big trials that dominate the headlines. It's in the day-to-day work of sitting in hard wooden benches around the country, listening to the most boring of cases and letting your arse go numb as you do that kind of day-to-day work of acting as the eyes and ears of the public. And that's work that's well done by an army of freelancers and stringers and local reporters around the country, and my former colleagues in the news agencies in the forecourts and the CCJ. And I think we'd be much poorer if we lost that, as budgets are being cut across the newspaper industry. I think it's vital that we protect that area of journalism. As has been said before, when is the last time you saw a reporter from YouTube or Facebook or Twitter at a district court in Macroom? If we lose court reporting, we lose the whole ball game, as far as I'm concerned. And I suppose another point I'd love to make is that court reporters need to continue to do what they do best, and that's be a nuisance. During COVID-19, we've seen a huge amount of the work of the courts move online into remote hearings, and a lot of those, it's been a great technological achievement, and in fairness to the court service and judges and so on, have done their best to maintain access to justice. But as we come out of the pandemic, I think a lot of those things are going to remain. We're going to see more stuff going online possibly, and that's inevitably going to have implications for the principle of open justice. So I think it's vital that any new systems that are established on a permanent basis recognise that journalists have to be able to view all of the proceedings that they could view, in analog fashion. So thanks again for this lovely massive award, and congratulations to all the winners. Obviously, the most important thing is that Mark Tighe didn't win. He has enough awards. And I will see you in Waltzes in a month or 2 months. Thanks very much.